Hi, my name is Scott Harris. I'm a founding member and farmer here at Lohbrunner Community Farm Co-op. We're situated in Langford, just outside of Victoria on Vancouver Island. Lohbrunner Farm is a 13-acre farm, about 6 acres of viable farmland, a couple acres of forest. The rest is taken up by driveway and houses. We are in a floodplain, which has its challenges, but because of that, we have amazing soil. We get a lot of breeze at times, early frosts, but it's an amazing place to farm. Yes. So, and we are a vegetable farm. We have a couple of market gardeners that farm out of here. We've got blueberry patch. We have a pumpkin patch. We grow a lot of pumpkins in the fall, and mostly mixed vegetables. We also have a person that grows a lot of flowers for sale, and that's what we do. I actually met Norma Lohbrunner probably 25 years ago. I only live about 3 kilometers from the Lohbrunner farm, and I've known about Norma, and I met her quite a while ago. Then in 2010, I started working for the Land Conservancy, and about 6 years before that, Norma had gifted her land to the Land Conservancy so that it was going to be protected in perpetuity. And I started working for TLC, so I got to Norma, the last year and a half of Norma's life, I got to know her fairly well, and because it was so close, I ended up spending a lot of time here. Plus, I really liked Norma as a person, so I did spend a lot of time on the farm. And so Norma's vision for the farm, for the property, was to have it protected as valuable green space in this area. Once TLC acquired the property, they realized that it was also a very valuable farmland. And so this small portion of the property that had always been farmed and was just a hayfield, they came up with a plan to cultivate it and grow vegetables and have a viable farm on the property. TLC ended up bringing on a farmer to farm the property. They leased the land to him. And during the time when I was here, when I was looking after Norma and I was working for TLC, that farmer ended up leaving and moving on to a different farm. Also at that time, TLC was starting to run into some financial difficulties. And so I knew, because I worked there, I knew that they didn't have the capacity at that time to bring another farmer on. So what I decided is I would just get a bunch of my friends and we would start farming the land, using the land that the farmer had already brought into production, and basically just keep it viable for whatever was going to happen next. And so we ended up with about 6 couples that started farming the land. We were on basically a month-to-month lease, and we started farming, and we really didn't know what was going to happen, but we knew that it was a good thing to do, a good vision for the land. So eventually what happened was those 6 people became the start of the Lohbrunner Community Farm Cooperative. Eventually the farm got transferred to Farm Folk City Folk, and then through the process of TLC finding homes for all the properties, Farm Folk City Folk ended up buying the property, and then very quickly we formed the Lohbrunner Community Farm Cooperative, and we signed a long-term lease with Farm Folk City Folk to manage the property. So at Lohbrunner Community Farm now, we lease out 3 acres to 2 different market gardeners, and then we still have a group of people we call the homesteaders. The 6 couples that formed the Lohbrunner Community Farm Cooperative essentially just grew their own vegetables. and that was what they did. So we still have that holdover, the homesteaders that grow their own vegetables, plus they do a lot of the volunteer work for the co-op. We have the co-op owns all the blueberry plants, and they grow pumpkins for sale, and that's all volunteer labor, and all that money goes to the co-op directly. And then the market gardeners have leases on the land, and they pay a lease to the co-op and to grow their own vegetables. They have CSAs, they go to markets, and then anything else they want to do to sell their vegetables. In almost everything that the co-op does, we kind of ask ourselves, what would Norma do? We have a lot of respect for the environment, and we try to farm sustainably and farm that does respect the biodiversity and what Norma's vision was. Just last year we did an environmental farm plan, and we also did a biodiversity plan, just so that we do pay attention to what Norma's vision was. Lohbrunner Community Farm also does education programs. We work with local schools and with service groups and any other groups, and we give courses. We have young people on the farm planting. So we do work with the community, trying to promote farming and farming values. We also have the pumpkin patch, which in the fall brings hundreds of people onto the property. This involves the community. It's always interesting to see how people show up at the farm and that they didn't know it was here. Unfortunately, our municipality is one of the fastest growing in the province, so it's very important for us and for the community to know that farming is still viable even in a quickly growing municipality. So what do I feel about co-ops? I think almost anybody that is involved with a co-op, it's kind of a love-hate relationship. There's kind of the really good things and the bad things. The bad things, I think anybody would agree, is a lot of meetings, but the good things by far outweigh the bad things. I think it's an amazing way to farm. You've got a group of people that can come together. You can have work parties. One thing for me, I kind of came into farming a little bit later in life, so I kind of want to have fun. I want to do what I want to do, and that means even taking vacations in the summer. And with a co-op, you can, once you get the farm set up, you can take a couple weeks off, and because there's other people around that can do the farming. Also, for young people, especially on Vancouver Island or in British Columbia, land is so expensive. It's very hard for young people to afford to farm. And so, and that's what we do at Lohbrunner. We have a couple of market gardeners that there's no way they could afford the land, but in a cooperative style, they can come here, pay leases, and be able to farm. And we give them long-term leases so that as opposed to trying to find a farm where they could farm and they might get kicked off in a couple of years, as long as everybody's happy, we can keep farming. And so it's such an amazing way to farm and get more people into farming. I think it's a wonderful model for farms. Obviously, we live in challenging times. The food systems, the way they are now, there's challenges with it, and we're going to have to change the model. On Vancouver Island, 60 years ago, we grew 70–80% of our food, and I think we can get back to that. And the good thing is that there's lots of young people coming up in co-ops, and there's lots of young people coming up to farm, And the co-op model is perfect for young people that can get into farming and work as a community, which is a good thing. And if we can grow more local food with that model, then I think it's a great thing.